Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Creator Town Hall. Now, why am I on a mobile and not on my desktop? I'll tell you all about that in just a moment because I'm a bit of an idiot. But today on the show, we're going to be talking about WWDC because it is just around the corner. I'm going to talk about collaborating, sharing files easily between your iPhones, your iPads, and your desktops. A bit about screen recording, which is a super handy thing to do, and why NFTs are not exactly my favorite thing. Let's discuss why cryptocurrency has its problems. We'll get into all of that. So, why am I on my mobile here and not on the desktop? Well, let's just say that I did not take my own advice. You know that thing where if you're about to start a show, you shouldn't actually hit yes when it says, hey, macOS would like to update. Yeah, that. So 20 minutes ago, I hit the update button. Ironically, just as we've gone live, just behind me here has said, okay, Pete, we're good to go now, so you can log back in. So I'm going to do exactly that. But we'll hang out here on the mobile for a little while because it's good to learn these things and it's good to learn from your mistakes. As we always say here, mistakes make you better. And I won't do that again in a hurry. Yeah. But it's also good because I can use StreamYard and I can see how StreamYard works here on the mobile device. So I can very carefully hit the comments buttons and say "G'day" to where people were. Oh yeah, do we have a bit of a the lighting? I might have a little bit more saturation in here. That's the challenge. Challenge number one with mobile when you're doing streaming is that you don't have as much precise control over your camera. So yes, that could be a little bit of a worry. No, Mark, hello to you. You probably have the latest update. I think it's 11.4. I'm just really slack with updating because I'm usually about to go live and about to do a show, so I don't update because that's a smart thing to do, right? I also see Russ and Gregory and Gino and other folks here, so welcome all of you to the show. What we're going to do, you're going to get to see a live transition. Let's see how slick this can be. Probably not very. But we're going to fire up over here on the Mac right behind me, which you can't see right now. And we'll get StreamYard happening and then we'll start talking. But to get things started today, I wanted to ask a question because WWDC is just around the corner. Drop in the comments now, while I get myself set up, drop in the comments, are you excited and what are you expecting to see? What is the best thing that you think will happen out of WWDC? And if you don't know what that is, it is the Worldwide Developer Conference. It's the big Apple software announcement. We know iOS 15 is coming. We know iPadOS 15 is coming. We don't really know a whole lot else. It's a little bit mysterious because Apple are always bringing the mystery, but all the leakers are super excited and telling us what they think might be happening and what they think might be included in this, but we just don't know. All right, let's enter the studio here over on the Mac, and we're going to get a weird. I'll put the microphone down, and we're going to get a weird Inception thing going on, where you're going to see a second version of me coming into the shot in just a moment from behind this camera tripod. So we'll jump in there. I hear the beep and I see myself coming in. So I haven't added myself yet, but I can. And in fact, if I move this one out of the way like this, oh, you're seeing a little bit behind. See, there's the treadmill. The infamous treadmill over there. You get to see the messiness of the studio here. What I can now do is add myself to the stream. Hello. That is the more common, the less tanned version of myself that we can then bring across here. We can get our microphone set up now. I also need to run my webcam settings app. There you go. This is fine because we're getting to see a behind the scenes kind of thing. There you go. That's put me back to a normal sort of level, just a little bit of brightness there. And what we can now do is go out of the app here. Have to do this carefully to make sure that everything works well. So what I'll do first of all is I'll come over here onto this mic. We'll set up our microphone and then I'll bring that on up. So we'll go to audio. We'll make sure that we're coming on through there. That's all looking good. And then we'll bring this mic up. We'll mute this one and we're back with you in about 2 seconds. And here we are over here with a bit of a double because we're still up over there. So are you getting double of me? We'll have to remove myself. There we go. So that one's out of the way. I'm still getting that feedback, so I should be able to just close it. Don't end it, Pete. Just go away. There we go. The old Pete has gone. we are all over here. So if I can get let's do a metalhead hippie style. Give me a 1 if you can hear and see okay. Give me a 2 if you're still unable to see the setup here. And then we'll get into the show because that was a little bit of a weird false start. And I'm thankful that everything is working okay, that we've got, that Mac OS has actually come through for me in a pinch here. We got some 1s. Russ has gone with a 3. Oh, can I wear my hat? Can I wear my hat and look weird like this the whole way through? Is that going to be super distracting? I sure hope so. So I can hear myself coming through now. We seem to be all good. Oh, Ivan's got a 4. Jade's got a different number. It's all happening here. I think after all of that, you know what we need to say? No, I kind of look like Robin Hood, or I look like someone from merry old England. So we're gonna go. We're gonna go. Look, I've been freshly shorn, so you're gonna have to watch the reflection off the light there, because it's going to be a bit rough with my shiny head for the next 2 hours. So, take 2. Welcome to the Creator Town Hall here on Studio Live today. You know what? I like it when I do things like this. I like it when you can have a problem like that, and then you go, you know what? I can freak out. I can throw in the towel. I can get my knickers in a twist. I can whatever else you want, or I can just move on. Yeah, do it. Yeah, put the sunnies on. See, I need them on here to stop the reflections of my own self here on the screen. Welcome. Let's do a quick roll call here. So, hello to Thomas Grimes. Hello to Mark. Hello to Jeff. Hello to Derek. Hello to Russ. Hello, Ivan Idea. We've got Jade Star, who I've missed. Is there somewhere? Volume is a little low. All right, we'll boost that up a little bit and give us a little bit more volume. We'll go. Hello, thank you for that. We're good. Clayton Von Kluge, hello to you. And Kim, I think I saw you sneak in there as well. Gino Therese is there. Kim's there. G'day. I hope you're well. So let's go back to our topic, shall we? That we were actually getting on and talking about. So, WWDC. Now, I've been boring myself to tears watching video after video all about WWDC and trying to find out what's going on just so that I can report back to you. And you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't actually seem that exciting. So I don't think there's anything of interest. What is actually coming apparently to iOS 15 is some changes to notification settings. I guess that's a good thing. So you can actually set different modes. If you're sleeping or if you're driving or if you're working, you can have notifications either not pop up as video as visual only, remove the audio notification. So if you can have notifications on, but then when you go to sleep, it'll just not give you the bing to wake you up. If you're like me, you don't put many notifications on, and whenever I go to bed, I go to do not disturb mode. So you will never get hold of me while I'm sleeping. Sleeping's too important. iPad OS, there's some changes to the widgets. I mean, I've got to be honest, I don't really use the widgets that much. I don't think they were super exciting when they came in the last iOS version. So I could be surprised. There could be something cool for GarageBand creators and for iPad and iPhone creators, but I'm not holding my breath. Mac OS, again, I think it's probably just the next level of the iOSification of Mac OS. Is that a word? No, it's not. But yeah, Mac OS is becoming more and more like iOS, and it'll probably just include more things, which will hopefully make it easier for people like me, who are very much iOS people, but not Mac OS people at all. Hardware-wise, I'll be very surprised if we see any hardware announcements. We may see some updates to the chipset, but there is a few little rumors around some MacBook Pros coming out. But you know what? I'm not going to spend any more time speculating on it because we're going to find out. We are less than 24 hours away from it. So by this time tomorrow, we will know. And don't forget, we've got Garageband Weekly tomorrow. So I will be going through all of the WWDC goodness in a segment in Garageband Weekly tomorrow. Hello to Gary Hubbs, who's also here. Hope you are doing well, my friend. WWDC, whatever they decide, it's not going to help the consumer much. Potentially not. There's not a whole lot that I think is going to make anyone super excited about this. And this one here, I was going to get a t-shirt just for today, but I couldn't get it printed up in time that just says, "Will Logic Pro be released on iPad?" And I know I've asked this a bunch of times. So again, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about it, but it does keep coming up. So we'll throw it on here and have a quick chat. There you go. Logic on the iPad. Is it going to happen? Is it not? I don't know. You don't know. There's a lot of. I think it was Emil actually. In fact, it was on. It was on the iPad. I've got to get myself set up. See, I had all these tabs open with all of the links that I was going to talk about in the show. And guess what happens when you update your Mac? Yeah, all your tabs go away. So I was going to put this tab up over here, but I'll do it now because this channel here, the iPad beat making channel, which is actually very, very cool. I've only recently discovered it and I will recommend it. I'll put it in the show notes at the end of the show. So if you're watching on the replay, you'll see it. But they had this one here, which is what we'll see. Whoop, hang on, share your screen. See, look, we're behind the 8-ball here today. There you go. So iPad beat making said, what we'll see at Apple WWDC predictions, iPad Logic plus Final Cut. And it was actually our friend Emil who was in the comments. So if you watch this, they show a comment, or we'll skip forward and we'll find it here. They show a comment from our friend Emil, who you might be aware that I collaborated on a track recently. And is that him there? No, that's a different one. This might actually be this is the wrong video. There was another video. I'll put both of the videos in the link there. But yeah, he was actually providing some information about Logic on iPad. And I don't know, Emil, if you're here in the chat or if you watch this on the replay, let us know if you got any more details. But he was talking about the fact that Logic would be released on iPad and it would be backwards compatible all the way back to the 3rd generation iPad Pro. So that's the 2018s, the 2020s, and of course the new M1s. That's something that I would be very surprised by. I would be very happy because I'm using my iPad 2020, but it'll actually make people like me, probably folks like Jade Starr, who have 2018 or 2020 iPad Pros, less likely to jump to M1. If we can at least start try out Logic and Final Cut and any other Pro apps on our iPads, and use it on the iPad Pro from 2018 or 2020, it would almost be an absolute no dice for an update for me. Unless there is, so I'll call it right now, unless there is a pro musical video making app that is only available for the Apple iPad Pro M1, I am very unlikely to buy one. I'll go on record as saying that right now. For me to buy an Apple iPad Pro M1 following tomorrow's announcement, they will have to tell me that Logic Pro is coming, and it is only available on the iPad Pro M1. And if that's the case, guess what? I have to take one for the team and do it for the content, as the kids say, and buy one just so that we can show off Logic. So we'll see what happens. Hey, we'll get there. Hello to the Jammer Man. Hope all is well with you. Thank you for joining us here. Will Logic Pro work properly with Big Sur? Well, I don't know, because I'm not using Logic Pro on the Mac right now. But for those that do use it, I think Thomas Christ is using Logic Pro on Big Sur. I think Jade has used it as well. Mark uses Garageband. I'm not sure if you've used it as well, but let me know how you go. If you have used it, I haven't heard any reports that Logic Pro isn't working on the Mac M1s. From all reports, it works really well and is running really smoothly. But if you've had different experiences or heard differently, let us know. Patrick Chandler, hello. Busy pre-work night here, but listening and popping in when able. Thank you for being here. And the Chandler brothers, Patrick and Sean, have a new song out, which is very cool. And if you haven't checked that one out, as well as Gary Hubs, there's so much new music being produced. It is very, very cool. Hello, Gregory O'Sullivan over there in Melbourne town. Hope you are doing well. When I next update my hardware, I'm planning on a Mac Mini for Cubase and basic iPad 8 for Cubasis. That's a pretty good deal. That's not a bad idea, because the plain iPad, my daughter has one. They are really good on the new A12 chip, I think is in that one. It runs really nicely, no problems at all. She edits on Lumafusion, she creates in GarageBand, has not had any problems on that. And the Mac Mini that I'm using right now, as long as you don't update your Mac OS software 15 minutes before a live show, it works fine, and it is working fine. It did restart and come back up here. There you go. Jeff says that would be good for me with my 2018 Pro, not planning on upgrading for a while. Yeah, likewise. So Big Sur plus Logic plus MIDI controllers equals problems. There you go. So I haven't, I've only used GarageBand with MIDI controllers in Big Sur, so I haven't actually used it with Logic. So I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't across it. So thanks for letting us know. Oh, all the control mapping went wonky. Yeah, that sucks, because one of the big cool things about Logic that I know people are excited about is much better MIDI control. because there aren't too many apps. I mean, some of the higher level apps have better MIDI control. I think Aurea Pro has some MIDI mapping and some MIDI learn functionality. I know some of the third-party plugins, the AUV3 plugins, do have MIDI mapping and MIDI control. But things like GarageBand, things like Cubasis, they really don't have great control over your MIDI devices. And what a lot of folks are hoping is that with Logic, you'll get not only the nice sends and receives for sidechaining and the like, your master channels, but you'll also get much better MIDI control. So to hear that MIDI is struggling on Big Sur doesn't really hold out well, does it? We shall find out. Let's move on, because we've got a heap of topics to get through here today, and we'll be talking about them right here on the show. So yeah, coming up on the show, as I said before, we'll have our usual segment where I look at some hidden gems, and today on the hidden gems, just as a bit of a teaser, I'm looking at all the creators I support on Patreon. Because Patreon, as you know, is a great platform. It helps independent creators like myself share what we're doing here. It helps us pay the bills and keep the lights on. Yeah, there you go. We'll do the joke. Just in case you thought it was a green screen. I did threaten to use a green screen with just my normal studio background, but it does help to keep the lights on and helps small creators like myself, have an income, or at least have some money coming in so that we can continue to pay the bills, update the hardware, do all the things. So I'm going to be showing all the Patreon channels that I actually support. And so that will be our hidden gems here today. And if you do want to support me, I know many of you already do, and I do thank you a heap. You can go to studiolive.today.com/Patreon, and you'll be able to support me there, and you'll be able to find out later in the show, who does Pete support and who don't I support? That's the problem. There's so many that I want to support. I could go nuts. I could spend hundreds of dollars a month, but it can be a challenge. I wanted to ask you a question. In fact, can we make it a poll? I think we can do polls here on YouTube, can't we? I'll have to jump over to YouTube to create the poll, but I'll ask it first here, and then I'll jump over to our YouTube channel. Do you have multiple YouTube accounts? If so, how many and why? So I'll tell you about mine, but first let me just jump over to YouTube. It'll probably give us some audio feedback as it starts playing there. There you go. Can we set a poll here? I'm sure I did some polls before. Here we go. So I will say here, do you have multiple YouTube accounts? And I'll say yes, 2. I'll say no, and we'll add one which is yes, more than 2. And let me know in the chat what you use them for. So for me, there you go. I'll hit the button there, and that's going to go away. And throw that poll up. You'll be able to see that poll at the top there. It'll pin it up to the top there, and you can vote in that poll as the show goes on. Did that work? Let me know if you can see it. There it is. It's popped up. So let me know if that works. So I do. Here's the thing. I had an original YouTube account, which was just an extension of my personal Gmail account. And I think this is how a lot of folks start out. So I won't tell you the name of it because it's my personal thing. It has 100 subscribers because I used to share little random things, and it's really just for me to share things with family and friends, little clips of things that I do. When I go to a sporting contest, I might take a clip and put it up there. So it's not meant to be a YouTube channel as such. When I started this channel, I thought, okay, I want to separate my personal from my business. I didn't think of it as business then, but from my creator account. So I created another channel called Pete Johns, just to confuse things, which is now called Pete Johns Studio Live Today, because I recently updated and changed that just for differentiation, and that's what I use for everything now. So every time you see me online, it's Pete Johns Studio Live Today. Everything that I do that is just purely personal. So when I go and watch videos about cricket, I'm not going to put them. I'm not going to watch them on my Studio Live Today channel and then start commenting about cricket and things, because it gets a bit weird, right? It gets a bit strange when if I started putting a whole bunch of comments and content out about things that aren't related to music and creating on this channel. A lot of you that are subscribed are here for the music and the video and the creator content. So it wouldn't actually make sense for a lot of the other hobbies that are just as valid that I have to be represented here. So that's why I have 2 different accounts. But it's come to my knowledge that a lot of folks have a lot more than that, and wondering why that is for. So let's see what you have to say about this. We'll scroll on down, and then we'll let you know the results of that poll as we go through. So the poll worked. Excellent. So the Jammer Man says, thinking of doing a second channel with a very different and specific style, but not yet. Yeah, likewise. So I've got, when I say I only have 2, I have others that are in the development stages. So I've started things because I do have some other hobbies and some other passions. So I've started one. One's called Semi Nerd, which I've talked about before and has never actually gone away. So there you go. I actually have three. I have three of them. So we'll see. Shalom. Hello, Yakoba. Shalom to you too. Mark is exactly me. Two channels, one for music, one for personal. Absolutely. And that's what most people have. QB the Penguin. Two channels, one main channel, another where I just throw out random stuff. Yeah, that seems to be another common thing too, where you have kind of a second channel, which is like just a dumping ground for anything that doesn't kind of fit the brand of what you're doing on the first one. So that's quite a common one there as well. Hello to Sion. Hope you are doing well, my friend. You did make it indeed. Thomas Christ has three. I have an anonymous account I used to use that I don't use anymore. I have an account with my real name and one for my music. Oh yeah. How many people have anonymous accounts? That seems a little bit. Maybe Thomas was a private investigator in a previous life. You just never know. There you go. Jade Star, yes. So Jade does have 5 channels and all very different. And I've seen, and I know Jade, you've talked about him. Did you talk about him on today's show? Jade did a 300th episode of her how to app on iOS today, and showed a bunch of older stuff. So yeah, if there's things that you're doing that are very different, then there you go. What have we got? Only 5, Jade Star. What about Caroline? Oh, there's some interesting stuff going on there. Barry Smith in the house. Hello to you. Hey, Pete. Apple WWDC starts tomorrow. It does. And you know what, Barry? No longer will we have to wonder, will Logic Pro be available on iPad? Because they'll tell us, or they won't. You know what's going to be the biggest like downer is if we hear absolutely nothing. Is if there's just complete crickets. They don't mention it at all. Because they won't say if it's not coming, right? They'll only say if it is. So if they say nothing, what do we do? What do we do as creators, as iOS creators? Do we panic? Would you say it's time for me to start cracking each other's heads open and feasting on the goo inside? Probably. It probably would. Don't have the memory to keep up with 3 or more channels. That's the thing. I probably have had other accounts at one stage. I wouldn't remember what they're called, and I definitely wouldn't remember the password. So there you go. Audible Video, hello to you. Hope you are doing well. By the way, if you do have questions, I've got a bunch of topics and I'll just rant. You know I can talk for 2 hours. That will be no problem at all. But if you do have any questions, you can go ahead and do this. Put the word question in front of your question and I will endeavor to answer it for you. Because I am solo this week. But guess what? We've got something cool for next week. I'm just trying to find it here. Here we go. I'll grab the link here. We'll copy the link and we'll bung it. That's Australian, isn't it? I'll bung it in the chat. There you go. You can take a look at that one. But next week we do have the wonderful, the amazing Sarah Newen as my special guest. And if you're wondering about the background there, I've just put the link there so you can set a reminder. See, I've got the reminder on. If you're wondering about the background, here in Australia, it's the Queen's birthday weekend. So it's a long weekend, a holiday weekend here in Australia. And because Sarah is actually multi-talented, she works many jobs, she normally can't join me here on a Monday morning because it's Monday morning here in Australia. So next week, because it's a public holiday, guess what? Sarah can join me. So yeah, go ahead, set your reminder for that one. This time, the same time next week, I'll make sure I'm not updating my Mac in the middle of it so that Sarah and I can have a good 2 hours. And she's going to be bringing some amazing, I've already seen some of the hidden gems that she'll be bringing along. She knows about live streaming. She knows about creating. She knows about growing a YouTube channel. So we're going to put her knowledge to the test. And I'm sure you will get a heap of value out of hearing from Sarah on the channel next week. So once again, the link is right there, ready to go. I have an idea. Logic is coming to iPad. Is that a question mark or an exclamation mark at the end of there? I don't know. Let me know. Joe Glenn is in the house. Hello to you. Good to have you on board. Thank you for being here. There we go. Yeah, let's all freak out about it. And the weird thing about that is that it's not actually the Queen's birthday. So because we here in Australia love a holiday, love a long weekend so much, we actually made it in June. Why? Because we don't have any other holidays around then. I think the Queen's actually born in August, and I don't even know if any Queen or King was ever born in June. I think we just went, oh, mate, it's a long time from Easter right through to like October long weekend. Let's chuck a long weekend in the middle of winter so that we can have something to look forward to. And here's the thing, Jade. As you said, if it's not released, if there is no announcement about Logic or any pro apps on iOS, the backlash against Apple will be huge, as we've talked about, from our community. And as we've talked about before, the subset of people that are us, that are, iPad and iPhone devotees that are waiting for this pro app announcement, we're maybe 2% of the Apple's market, if that. So, it'll be a backlash in our community. It'll feel like something big in our community. But again, it's like when the headphone jack was removed. For every creator just lost their ever-loving mind. The average person went, oh, so I've got to use Bluetooth now? Okay. They just simply didn't care. So we'll see. We'll see how we go. Hopefully you'll be right if they do put Logic on the new iPad Pro. I'm going to get it. Yeah, I'm going to get it too. Only if it's available only on that iPad. So there you go, Apple. Even if it's not, just say it is. So I've got an excuse to buy a new iPad, new M1. It is nearly tax time. So for me, here in Australia, we pay our tax year is the financial year, July through to June. So once I've worked out how much tax I have to pay, we'll be able to work out if there is enough in the kitty to maybe pick up a iPad. A new iPad Pro. And then guess what? There'll be a very good condition iPad Pro 2020, 512 gig, 11 inch, that someone can pick up for a very good price because I'll need to ship it on while it still has some value. Yeah. Alrighty, let's move to our next topic, shall we? Oh, yeah, before we go, good question, Jeff. How much will Logic cost on iPad? So this is where we're thinking, is it going to be a subscription model? Is it going to be an outright purchase model? And if so, what's it going to cost? I'm with Jade that I think there'll be a Pro app subscription or a Pro app add-on to the regular Apple One or the Apple subscription. So I can see them having Apple Music, Apple TV, Apple Gaming, Apple Fitness, and then Apple Pro or Apple Creator. It'll probably be called like Apple Creator. How cool would that be if it's the Apple Creator Pack? Maybe not. But I'm thinking that that's the case, and I'm thinking something like $20 a month for that. That's my ballpark figure. If they're going to sell it, if it's available, let's say that they say, guess what? Good news, everybody. Logic Pro is coming to the iPad, and it's going to be released next week in conjunction with iOS 15. Well, probably won't be next week, but whenever it comes out, then what would that price tag be? For just $49. Maybe? Would that make sense? For an iPad Logic, $49? What do you think? Put the amount. If you had to buy it outright right now, what is the amount? Drop it in the chat right now. How much would you pay? What's your maximum? What's your upper limit that they said? 49? 79? 99? 299? That's what it costs on a Mac, isn't it? What would it be? I don't know. I'd probably pay, you know what? I'd pay $100. I would, just because, hey, there's people paid $100 for the organ, for the Hammond B3 app that IK put out. So I think people would pay that. Gary Hubs would buy that. I'd buy that for $1. Right, before we move on, let's see how many folks, we've got the poll that's been going here. So we'll see. We'll come over to here. So we asked folks, we've got 27 votes in there. Do you have multiple YouTube accounts? Let's end the poll, and that will throw this here in the chat, and we'll be able to see the results of said poll and see what you said and what you voted on. There you go. So do you have it? No. So 48% of you only have one account in YouTube. That's interesting. Good to know. 37% have just two, and then 14% of you have more than two. So it's always like that sliding scale that you get when you do things like this. All right. How much would you pay? What would you pay? Yeah, and if Apple goes all subscription for apps, then expect everyone else to follow, right? Clayton Vaucluge, $50 US, yeah, maybe 50. Mark Bro, $49.99. Ivan likes the idea. See what I did there? Of a subscription base. Max would be 50 for Thomas Christ. There you go. 50 quid to be in line with Cubases. Yeah, I reckon so. G'day, Frigsy. Hope you're doing plus or minus 1%. Hope you're doing well, Frigsy. So, yeah, we're talking Logic. If Logic came out on iPad, what would you pay for it? And, yeah, what would I pay? Yeah, I would hope it would be 50. I'd probably go to 100. I think they know that 100's got to be their max price point. Devil's Thumb says $77. With a name like that, I thought it would be $66. That might have been more fitting, right? Apple Creator $9.99 a month. Yes, there you go. I'm going to put that there, and then in a day's time, I'm just going to show this footage, and I'm just going to go, see, Jade was right. Apple Creator Pack, $9.99 per month. Add it on, people. The only thing I think is what they might do is actually bundle an Apple Creator with the 2 terabyte and then make it $19.99 or something like that. Because I think they'll know that if you're using Logic, you'll need 2 terabytes of iCloud storage or Final Cut, especially. Can you imagine trying to use Final Cut on like a 128 gig iPad and you're pulling in like multiple 4K stream clips and things? I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Or bundled with Apple One for an extra $10. Oh man, yeah, string changing. My goodness, I was listening back to some of the stuff I was playing yesterday, and my strings sound so dull on my guitar. I had to like EQ it up, I had to add some treble just so that my strings actually had a little bit of ring to them. Yeah, they desperately need a change. I will do that this week. I'll commit to that, to actually doing it this week and having it done. So there you go. All right. Now I do need to get my things shared here, so I'll do that in a moment, and then we'll do some hands-on stuff. But we'll talk about some other things because I talked about this right up front, and I wanted to get your feedback because I've been going down the rabbit hole of research into this. So NFTs. What are NFTs? NFTs are non-fungible tokens, and they use the blockchain. So they use the same infrastructure as cryptocurrency to create and validate a unique copy of a digital product. I know, I'm still getting my head around it, but let's just say Pete has the Studio Live Today logo. Well, that's a bad idea because that's a business logo. But let's say I create a picture. I create a really cool image of something that I'm going to put on a t-shirt or that I want to sell or whatever. I can then actually say this digital product, I am going to sell the ownership of this digital product to Joe Glenn. And Joe Glenn's going to pay me, but instead of just Joe Glenn giving me $100 and me saying, guess what, Joe, you own it, it is done through the blockchain, which means that everyone will know because it's validated throughout the blockchain. And I won't go into details about how blockchain technology works, but a bunch of computers validate it, makes it really hard to do fraud and forgery and all that sort of thing. So Joe Glenn now owns my weird picture of a cat skateboarding that I sold to her for $100. What Joe can then do is hang on to that and say, yes, I've got this piece of Pete John's memorabilia, except she doesn't because it's a picture that anyone can copy because it's digital. Which brings me to my first point that I'll talk about in a minute about why I don't like it. But let's just say that everyone's cool with that. I get really popular and famous. Yeah, right. And suddenly my cat on a skateboard, everyone wants it. So Joe's like, okay, $300 and you can have Pete's cat on a skateboard. And she on-sells that to someone else. She no longer owns it because it's digital, which makes sense for reasons I can't quite fathom. So she no longer owns that and she sells it to Thomas Christ. Now, Thomas Christ has this piece of artwork. This is the basis of a non-fungible token. It's non-fungible meaning that not multiple copies can't exist. Not only one person can be the ultimate owner of this, and then it acts like something that you'd trade, like a collectible card or something that you'd actually physically trade, except it's digital. There is 2 problems with this that I foresee. Number 1 problem is I am not a fan of what I call fake or false scarcity, because digital products by their very nature are non-scarce. This is why they're so cool. This is why digital music means that everyone can have your music. Why digital video means that everyone can watch this YouTube video. If one person paid to watch this YouTube video and nobody else could watch it, that would be like old school. That would be like me recording myself onto a VHS cassette and mailing it to someone and then them having the only copy and only being able to watch it. That's kind of not how things work in the 21st century. It's not designed around scarcity. Media and art is designed to be shared, and it's designed to be one to many, not one to one. So adding this false fake layer of scarcity so that one person can have exclusive ownership of a digital product, which by definition is infinitely copyable, doesn't sit well with me. Now, folks have been using this for a long time, this idea of false scarcity to sell digital products. So have you ever seen courses that are advertised and they're like, this course is $1,500 value, but it's just $47, always has to end with a 7, just $47 for the first 100 people. So what is that doing? That's creating false scarcity that creates urgency and a sense of urgency for you to go and buy that course. The same with, it's for a limited time only. The next 24 hours, it'll only be $27. You're like, wow, I better buy this because for the next 24 hours, it's $27. Then it's going to go right back up to $1,500. No, it never will. That's not the actual value of the product. it is false scarcity. So I don't like false scarcity to begin with because I think everything should be a one-to-many and it should be a consistent message. That's problem number one. Problem number two is energy consumption. So yes, okay, before we get into it, yes, Pete is a big, environmental hippie, whatever. But I did also work for an energy company. So I'm kind of in two camps. I got 1 foot over here and I got 1 foot over here. So I know how the energy system works. I know how energy production can actually be damaging. I know about the carbon footprint of energy production. And I know that in most parts of the world, the energy production is still mostly coal and gas. There are a few places that are relying on nuclear. They're relying on green, what is it called? Environmentally friendly, renewable energy. Geez, that took a while to get there. However, the majority of energy being used right now is not clean. Now, there's some pretty disturbing facts when you start digging into it around how blockchain and cryptocurrency work, because there's not only the problem of the actual transaction. So the transaction, the reason there's all these computers all pointing into one spot is so that they can't be copied. So instead of one computer being the trusted source, a bunch of computers are talking together. It's more complicated than that, but that's the way it is. So you're using multiple different processing power to actually do that. But if you start digging into the mining, which is a whole separate topic, the mining of cryptocurrency, that is much, much worse. So that is where there's these giant server farms, many of them in sort of more developing countries, like, well, not developing, but a lot of them in China, a lot of them in other countries, where they're literally just racks and racks of like high performance graphics cards just churning out and trying to solve equations just so that we can have this cryptocurrency framework to actually work with. So that side of it doesn't sit very nicely with me. And there's some pretty disturbing facts. Like I was doing some research today. Bitcoin's using 129 terawatt hours, which is just a heap. And if you compare that to Google's overall footprint, Google, which is running YouTube, Google search, all of their server farms are using 12.4 terawatt hours. So Bitcoin at the moment itself is using, and cryptocurrency is using like 100 times or 10 times as much energy as Google. That's disturbing. That's a concern. So NFTs, are they cool? I've said my piece. Like I said, whenever I get into something, I always want to educate myself as much as possible. So I've tried to look at both sides. I've looked at the fact that this is good for artists, it's good for creators. Hey, if you can make some money and someone buys it, but it's also got these sort of hidden things that I'm not sure that everyone's actually thinking about. So that's my rant. What say you? What do you say about that? Let's see. Jade's telling us what she thinks. NFTs are for idiots with more money than brains, and give them a year and NFTs won't exist. There you go. Dictionary definition of fungible is being something, money, or such of a nature that one part or quantity may be replaced by another equal part or quantity in paying a debt or settling an account. Yeah. So the idea of that is a $20 note is you hand it over, right? You hand it over. So that's the fungibility. Non-fungible means it's the virtual version of that. So it almost kind of defeats its own definition to begin with. I don't know. We've got a good quick hockey update. Montreal wow. Montreal are doing really well against the Jet. We've got a book. If anyone wants a book to read that parallels NFTs, art in the age of mechanical reproduction. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting stuff. I don't. This might be a little bit extremist, but yeah, it's got its concerns at the moment. The more popular it gets, and the more cryptocurrency forms there are that are using this. And this is the thing. I can't remember the names of it. They did talk about it, but this is the ones that are using this methodology of cracking these big equations and using massive processing power to try and crack complex equations to prove or to mine the Bitcoin and then to prove the ownership of things. There are newer technologies, but it has been said that like cryptocurrency is 21st century technology being powered by 19th century technology in coal and gas-fired power generation, which is really weird, in my opinion. We will see. So Thomas Christ says, I'm sure assigning arbitrary, ridiculous, but very real value to a piece of binary code won't eventually harm the economy at all. Yeah, I don't know that it's exactly. I don't think it's harming in terms of the economy. I think it's okay from that point of view because, say, if you just compare it to selling a piece of art, like a physical piece of artwork, if one person can own it, what are you talking about, Siri? I think Siri's listening to my conversation. She's like, Bitcoin is actually good, Pete. In fact, Apple are releasing Tim Coin tomorrow. There you go. You heard it here first. Apple are releasing their own new Cook Coin. What would Apple call? Let's have some fun with this because we got a bit serious for a minute there. But what would Apple do if? What would Apple call their cryptocurrency form? What do you reckon? Would it be Apple Coin? Would it be Think Different Coin? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know that. Friggsy says, funny as NFT should come up tonight. I've been dabbling with crypto for the last couple of months. The guys I watch are 100% sure NFTs are the future. That's part one. Is there a part two to that, Friggsy? Let me know, because here's the thing. At the moment, there's two. This is why I try to sit down the middle. I know I'm sounding more like I'm against them, but the more research I'm doing, the less convinced I'm finding of things that are actually working and that it's actually a good thing, and the more I'm going that way. But someone could turn me around. As you know, Gary Vaynerchuk is someone who I look up to, who's kind of like a virtual mentor for me, and I like a lot of what he does. I think he's missing a lot of the important factors of NFTs. And I think that as someone for him who is like a socially conscious investor, I don't think he's looking into the details. And it's easy to do that. I think if you get excited about something, it's easy to not look at all the details of something. All right, we've got some Tim Applebucks. The new iPhone's coming out, and it's only going to be 299 Tim Applebucks. I like it. Yeah, Siri's a what? Siri Bucks. Maybe it could be Siri Bucks. Siri's an eavesdropper from way back. iCoin. Seeds. Oh, Joe's just won. Congratulations. How many seeds? Yep, the Apple seeds. That's brilliant. I'm going with that. I'm going with the Apple seeds of being it. So part two, NFTs were tested and were successful. Now the genius have gone up to develop the technology. Yeah. Well, that's it. Pete, here's the thing. The market is the market, right? I'll say this final thing on NFTs because they are creator related because they're about digital art. But the final thing I'll say on this is the market is the market. So people clearly want to own pieces of digital art, whether it's music, whether it's someone paid for that little cat logo thing. They paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. People want that. And that is what the market is telling us right now, is that they want to do that. My number one concern on this is that are we not creating a culture that says that flexing on other people with what you have, not what you do, is the way to go? Is this kind of the right message to be sending out there, that what you own, isn't this the virtual version of the douchebag owning the Lambo? Isn't this the what's that guy's name? Ty Lopez? You know what's more powerful than my Lamborghini? Knowledge, buying books. Is it not just that? Do we not want to kind of educate our kids and the next generations that it's not about the things you own, it's not about the things you have, it's about the person you are and what you do? Are we getting a little bit too philosophical? Probably. 3-0. Up to 3-zip. There you go. 3-zip in the Montreal Canadiens are doing well. By the way, I found it weird. Bill coins. I found it weird the other day that the Toronto Maple Leafs are sponsored by Molson Canadian, and the Canadiens are not. Isn't there a perfect, the Canadiens sponsored by Molson Canadian? It's like that's perfect. Why would it be the anyway? Silicoin. Apple's new M1 only cost you 300 silicoins. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. That's my bad, Tim Cook. Apple dollars. Apparently, Apple is phasing out the I prefix, so we'll never get iBucks. Damn it! I want iBucks. Tim Bucks versus Bill coins. Oh, Tim Bucks versus Bill coins. Okay, I don't have Bill. Bill's not spying on me yet because I haven't had my vaccination here yet. So once I get fully vaccinated, I'll have Bill Gates in my arm somehow. I don't know. I don't actually follow things. Bitcoins are a problem in many ways. NFT is debatable. Yeah, you know what? If you could solve the energy crisis situation with NFTs, if they weren't using a blockchain technology that was seriously damaging, that was using a whole bunch of redundant processes from graphics processors that are in big giant server farms, if it could instead use a smarter technology to do the same thing, I would actually open up to it. I would say, you know what, if you want to do it, again, that's fine. But the false scarcity coupled with the damaging energy consumption, I can't pull it down together. So if they can solve the blockchain problem that Ethereum and the Bitcoin and all these other cryptocurrencies are using now and use something smarter. It's weird. Like, why are these people? These are the smartest people on the planet, and they've almost created something so complex that it can't possibly be energy efficient. Meanwhile, Apple, for what it's worth, are creating hardware that is lower powered, that is more efficient than ever before. And Intel are over here with their flaming hot chips, going, "We're better. You can game on us better. Whatever." Anyway, Apple Core, yes, Apple are. Apple are evil to the core or good to the core? What do you say? What say you, people? I don't know, man. Right, let's get into some fun here, and I'm going to show something that I use all the time. We're going to get practical here. Let's. I've got to run Reflector. This will be interesting, folks, because I haven't run. I haven't run anything since I've updated here, and now I'm going to screen mirror using Reflector. So, by the way, if you do want to mirror your iPad or your iPhone screen to your Mac or your PC, Reflector 4 is a good option. It has its teething problems, especially in the latest version or the last version of Mac OS. But you know what? We've got a new version of Mac OS now, so I wonder if it's going to be better. We can only hope. I can't seem to get the thing away from the screen. Well, I've gone into full screen mode. That might be okay. Let's test this out in full screen mode. So we'll come over here. We'll share our iPad screen. Let's see if my mouse is going to work over here on the iPad. I'm super organized here. No, I haven't. Oh, there it is. So there's my mouse. I'm sharing this using the Reflector 4 software. So what we're looking at here is the easiest way, in my humble opinion, to share files. So you've got files here on your iPad. You might have had a Garageband project you've exported, a Lumafusion file, a photo that's in your Photos library, and you want to share it with a computer, an Android device, a Mac, a PC, whatever. I lean very heavily on audio share. So if we come here and we click over to audio share, this is it. You can see here I've been doing some things. My daughter's doing a dance routine to Diamonds, the Rihanna song. So I've got an edit of this. I won't play it because I'll get a copyright strike within seconds if I do that. But you can see here I've got a bunch of folders in here. My video input folder has nothing in at the moment because I'm not doing any video projects at the moment. But if I was, I could actually bring in files here, and I bring them in from my PC and then put them on my iPad, and then I also share files from my iPad and pop them on my PC or my Mac. So what I'm going to show you here is how I actually go about that. But I just need to I need to get out of the mode here so that I can show things in behind. So let's get out of that mode. There we go. That's going to be better. So I can actually show my browser in the background over here, and show you how we use the file sharing platform. So here I am in my browser. Now you can use any browser on any device. So it can be on your iPhone, on your iPad, on your Android tablet, on your Mac, on your PC, on your Linux server, for all I care. Because all it is it's using your own personal Wi-Fi network. So as long as you're on the same network as another device, you can copy files. And you can do it using the Wi-Fi drive option here on Audio Share. And it doesn't use the cloud, it just uses your own network. So if Siri, what are you talking? Siri won't stop trying to be involved. So what we'll do, we'll jump over here. We're here in Audio Share. What we're going to do is tap down the bottom here. You'll see that we've got this option. Now, Audio Share is great. It's got a recorder. It's got a clipboard function. You can share stuff in and out of Audio Share. But this is probably my favorite feature, Wi-Fi Drive. If we tap this on, look at this. It gives us, now depending on your setup, it'll give you a name or sometimes just a local address on your server. So don't try going to this because it's on my local server. It won't actually help you out. But this is where I can actually go. And what I can now do is if I go back to my browser that we had earlier, if I go to this address, so I just type it in 192.168.86.160, boom, there we are. Immediately, I get those same files up here. And as you can see, if we pull this out of the way, there you go. So there's exactly the same files for the birds, all my instrumentals of things. So when I was working on these instrumentals, I've created them on my iPad, I've put them into Audio Share, and we can just simply go download there. And look at that. It's going to download that file directly into here. If I want to play it, let's just right-click it and open it, and it'll start playing For the Birds over here. There you go. Simple as that. Now, going the other way is also simple. We can go directly from our computer over to here. All we need to do is actually just drag some files over here. You can either hit the upload button here, or we can drag some files across. So if you're in Windows, just go to Windows Explorer. I'm here on a Mac, as you know, so I'm going to go to my Finder eventually. There we go. myfinder.com.au. No, that's not a thing. So I'm going to go to my Finder here, and here you go. So here's my Finder with all my files that I can bring across here. So what have I got? Something that I might want to use, an audio file here. So here you go. Here's my music video of Lucky. So here's a video file. So this is going to show you that it's not just for audio. You can use this for video file too. So I'm going to come over to here. This time I'm going to go into my video import folder. So the same folder structure again that you can see back here. So if we come behind, you can see that we've got the video import there, and no files there, no files here. So all I need to do now is grab my Finder and drag this video file, and look at this. Look how quickly that uploads. Boom. Because it's using your own Wi-Fi network, no dongles, no cables, nothing needed. You can just transfer it to and fro. And now this is directly here in my iPad. If we pop that down, we can, and we'll get that out of the way. We can now tap on this one, come up to here, and there it is. We can play the audio of it because we're in audio share. So if we hit play here. There you go, that's cool. But from here, we can then share this. So we can hit the share button down the bottom here. We can share it out of there, no problem at all. Or we can actually use this within our Files app. So say I now wanted to grab this video file that I've just brought in, that I've copied over from my Mac, and I want to throw it into Lumafusion. Well, no problem. We can just come over here. We can go to Lumafusion. There it is, Lumafusion, my video editor of choice. And we can come in here. What video was I working on there? Oh, that was the Rihanna video, because I may have screen recorded just to get a copy of it. Don't do as I do. So let's come in here. We'll go to we'll just create a new project. So let's just create a new project in here. Boom. And what we can do now, because audio share is just a spot on our files, we can actually import from here. So, wrong one. If we go to our import button in the top right here, import media, we can go, and this is exactly what I do when I'm doing one of these, when I'm doing any of my videos. We go to our file section, we come here to the audio share file folder, which is out here, boom, and then here's where everything is. So there where we saved it into our video import, there it is. We tap on that one, and boom, it's imported. So now we can grab this, drag it down into Lumafusion, and there you go. How cool and quick was that? And so now I've got access to this video file that I can now start editing up here in Lumafusion. Right? Pretty cool, yeah? So any audio file, any video file you like, you can copy to your heart's content. Now, the other cool thing that we can do with this is it doesn't have to be audio or video. I know audio share kind of makes you think that, oh, it can only be for audio. But as you saw there, I copied the video file across here and it's good to go. The other cool thing you can do, you can actually convert this directly to audio right from in here. So if you've got a video file that you want just the audio of, bring it into audio share and you can do that. But you can also store any sort of file in here. As you can see here, if we go to my Studio Live Today folder, okay, that's a bad example. I've only got waves and M4As. But let's say that I had a project. In fact, let's do an example. Say we wanted to share a Garageband project. This is a pretty common thing. If you're collaborating with another artist or another creator and you want to share a Garageband project, the easiest way I've found to do it is this. Let's jump over to Garageband. Let's grab this file here. Let's just say that I'm working on this Jam Fest project with someone else and I want to share it with them. Now, we have to actually leave GarageBand, but we'll just show you what this is. So here's my Jam first. I'm using AirPlay, fair enough. And right, so I need to share this. I'm going to send it to Jade Star or something. She's going to master it for me, whatever the case may be. We're going to exit out of there. Now, we don't want to do it from in here because we want to actually zip up this project file. So don't be in GarageBand. Instead, you want to flick over here to your Files app, yeah? Files app for the win. And what we want to do is we want to actually go and find this. So this is in my iCloud Drive, it's in my GarageBand for iOS, and it's in my Ideas folder. And there it is, Jamfest 2021. We're going to tap and hold on this. And what we're going to do is hit the compress button. Why are we compressing this? Well, Apple file types, iMovie, GarageBand, many others, do not play nicely on any other infrastructure, including things like email, Google Drive, PCs, even Macs. Sometimes it gives a little bit dodgy. So we're going to compress this up here. That's zipped it. And now we have this project file as a zip file. So that's important, yeah, because we've got it done and we've got it good. We can now share this directly over to our audio share file. So we can tap and hold on this. Let's move this file and let's throw this straight into my audio share location, which we'll do like that. We'll put it in the, no, we won't put it in the video input. Let's just put it in this Studio Live Today folder. We'll hit copy. Boom. It actually keeps a copy here just for safekeeping. You can then delete this if you want to, but it's copied it over to Audio Share. If you don't believe me, you can come over here, go into there, and there it is, Jamfest. So now, yeah, you're probably ahead of me here. We can jump back over to Audio Share. We can go to that Studio Live Today folder, and there it is. It's a zip file. Now here, if you tap on it, it'll say, do you want to extract the contents? You can. In fact, it's kind of fun if you do. We'll do that in a minute. But normally you want to say no. And you can see, look, it's got no WAV file. It's not an audio file, so it's got no WAV file. But that's okay. That's actually what we want, because now we can utilize this to copy it over to our Mac. Yeah, we can back up our GarageBand projects with ease. Here's that Mac. It's already still shared. You can see down the bottom here, it's still got the sharing on. And what we can do is we can navigate to that folder, which was Studio Live Today. We can download that Jamfest. There you go. It's in my download folder. And now I can use this wherever I want. I can copy this to a USB hard drive. I can leave it on my Mac. I can put it over to a PC. I can put it onto a cloud storage platform like Dropbox or Google Drive. It is able to be used anywhere. And of course, like I said, not just between an iPad, an iPhone, and a Mac, but you can do it to a PC. You can do it to an Android tablet, anything you like. And the beauty of zipping up means that you don't have to worry about compatibility clashes and any issues with anything like that. So I find that super cool. Let's just have some fun right here at the end and look at what's actually in a zip file. Because I said to you before, we can actually come in here. And if we tap on that one, if we do yes, this will actually unzip it right here in Audio Share. So let's show you this. There you go. Done. So it's unzipped, and you'll see here we've got two folders. We've got this Mac OS folder, which is the folder, it basically gives the Mac OS version of GarageBand a little bit of detail to make sure that it can open in Mac. So that's your Mac cross-compatibility. Remember, you can go from iOS to Mac in GarageBand, can't go from Mac to iOS. But if we go to this one, you can actually see the contents of what's inside a GarageBand project folder. So you got this folder that's kind of just got a bunch of image files. We can't see them here. In fact, let's go to the files. Let's go to the Files app because it's funner to see what some of these images are. So here we are. We're in the Files app. We're in that same spot. Oh, where did it put it? Can we not access it from here? That's weird. It must hide it. Ooh, that's interesting. I didn't realize it did that. It's got that Mac OS folder there, but it's hidden the other folder. If we go back to Audio Share like this, you see we've got this other folder. It must not want you to see. Oh no. Yeah, it doesn't want you to see this one, the .band. That's weird. Oh, it's because you know what? It's because it's a .band folder. It just says I'm going to open it up. But if we can look in here, you can look at the media folder. You can see what images are being used there. None. Some of the recordings. So this one doesn't have any WAV files, but if they were, they would be recorded in there. You've got these ones, which are CAF files. So these are the actual loops of things like the Jazz Hustle sax. So this is where Apple stores its loops. The blues drum set. So these are CAF audio files that you've got there. You can come in here to your output files. This is, what does this have? I don't even know. More PNG. So there you go. Arrangement screenshots. So there's all sorts of weird, cool stuff in there. Contents. Can't remember what that is. But yeah, you're more complex your GarageBand project, the more stuff you're going to see in there. And it can be a lot of fun just going in there and seeing, what the heck do I have inside this GarageBand project? There you go. Try it out for yourself. It's only about a $4 app, Audio Share, but it's worth the cost of entry just for the Wi-Fi drive feature alone. And of course, you've also got a great audio recorder in here. You can record high quality audio in there with a whole bunch of high quality settings that you can set up, including a UV3 plugins. Yes, it's true. You've got the ability to copy and paste, and you've got the ability to share your audio files. And as you've seen in this one, your video files too. So there you go. Share and share alike. I wanted to show that because I get a lot of people asking me questions saying, how do I share things? How do I get things from this place to that place with ease? And for me, for everything I do, it's Audio Share. That way, if I've got a file, and obviously you can use things like AirDrop to send things from one thing to another. You can use a bunch of other options, but that is the one that I like. We got some folks who've jumped on in. We've jumped on in. Who have we got here? Devil's Thumb. Hello to you. Hope you're doing well. I think I saw another one. Who else did I see? I can't see. Daniel. Hello to Daniel. Someone said hello to Daniel, and I got sidetracked. And les productions vivons. How does ASCAP BMI a CSAC work with sharing? That is a good question. And it varies because it kind of depends where you are in the world. We'll have a quick drink and we'll have a quick talk about that, shall we? Make sure we've wet the whistle. So, in terms of sharing your music, the whole ASCAP BMI and anything that is sort of representing your music, that is for playback when your music is being played live or when your music's being played on the radio, basically public broadcasting of your music. So here in Australia, we have, I always forget their name, AMCOS, ARIA AMCOS. In the US, it's ASCAP BMI. In the UK, it's... Someone can put it in the chat because I know that it's on the tip of my brain. So there's a bunch of different organizations. And what you basically do is you say, here's all my songs, and then they go away, they represent you. And if those songs are played in public or played on the radio, then they do a weird, funky calculation and you get some money back for the royalties of that. That's very different from distributing your music. So if you distribute through, say, DistroKid or through Amuse or any other number of music distributors, then it's a different kettle of fish. That is just for your Spotify, for your iTunes, for your Google, your YouTube, your Deezer, anywhere where it's actually distributed to. Now, these days, there are some distributors, so we'll come over here to CD Baby, who have kind of tried to be everything to everyone. And we'll have a look at their thing here. So if you go over here to sudibaby.com. Now, full disclosure, DistroKid actually sponsor one of my shows, my Your Music live show on the channel here. So I do have a conflict of interest or a vested interest in distributors, and DistroKid are a sponsor of the channel. So full disclosure of that. So keep that in mind when we talk about this. But one of the features that I actually don't mind, if you wanted to go down this track, is to utilize this. So you can see you've got your standard pricing here on CD Baby, which is $29 for an album, $9.99 for a single, or your Pro, which includes publishing. So if we take a look at this Pro option for $69, a Pro album, you can see that you not only get all of your digital distribution like you do with any distributor, but if you come down here, you get sync licensing and you get worldwide publishing royalty collection. So they take the hassle out of that, and performing rights affiliation. There you go. CSAC and SOCAN. I should have looked at this first. ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, or SOCAN. So it basically does everything for you. It will distribute your whole album, and then it will also do all of your other stuff. The thing is, it's usually not that expensive to join up to ASCAP or to BMI or any one of the performing rights organizations. And once you do it once, you just kind of keep feeding them all of the songs that you've released. Now, I say this as someone who hasn't done it yet, and yes, bad me, mostly because not many of my songs are played publicly or played on the radio, but some are sometimes. So I'm actually leaving money on the table by not doing this. So I probably should do that. But yeah, this is another option. The reason that I don't lean towards this, and that I personally like DistroKid, is at $69 for one album versus $19.99 for DistroKid to release an unlimited number of songs, EPs, and albums per year. Yeah, like that's 3.5 years worth of DistroKid right there to release one album, or 1.5 years for a Pro single, or even just a standard album, $29. Again, 1.5 years of DistroKid for one album. If you're only going to release album, let's just say that you're someone who releases one album every 3 years. Yeah, a distributor like CD Baby or what's the other one? The one that everyone used to use? I can't remember off the top of my head. Might make sense. Whereas if you are releasing a lot of music and you want the flexibility to release singles and EPs and a bunch of other stuff, DistroKid give you that flexibility. So there you go. Audio Share is a must-have app. I don't say that about many apps. Like I like free options. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention at the time, but there is a free option that does a fairly similar thing. I find it a little bit clunkier, to be honest, but the app I'm talking about here is Documents by Riadel. So if we come over here and we tap on, not DoorDash, I don't want a burger. Well, I kind of do. But for now, we won't look at that. We'll look at Documents by Riadel. And there you go. It's going to sell me on Documents Plus. But this does kind of the same sort of thing. You can actually connect it up. You can add a connection here and you can connect it up to another device using that same Wi-Fi method. I just find that the format here and the way it all works together is just not as clean, in my personal opinion. But if you want to try something for free, you can try Documents by Riadel, and it will work for you. But yeah, for mine, just because I'm an audio guy, having everything there with audio share works much better for me. Yes, Joe also loves the audio share. I should have this as a scrolling thing down the bottom. In fact, let's try that. I'll create a new banner here and we'll scroll it across the bottom. It'll just be Apple may or may not release Logic Pro on iPad at WWDC tomorrow. And I'm not doing this to be a dick. Well, kind of am. But yeah, I just wanted to test this scrolling feature. So there you go. We'll just have that scroll for the rest of the show. And I'm very sorry, Clear Grey Scribes. It's an absolutely perfect question, and we did. If you scroll back to the very start, I spent about 20 minutes talking about it. So yeah, we don't know. We don't know if it is. Devil's Thumb says, sorry if off topic, Pete. You know what? It's the Creator Town Hall. Nothing is off topic. But I want to set up my iMovie game. Is Lumafusion step up? My iMovie game is Lumafusion. My next step. Yeah, 100%. Let's talk about this for just a moment. I'm sorry, I'm going to remove that ticket. That's going to annoy the crud out of everyone, isn't it? Goodbye. Let's show you why this is the case. So, iMovie is great for creators. So, again, GarageBand and iMovie, that you get them free on any iPhone and iPad and can pretty much use them on, well, not any, but anything from like iOS 13 onwards. So any iPhone 6S, any iPad Mini 4, any iPad Pro, like you can use all this stuff. The reason that you may want to up your game from iMovie to Lumafusion is that it does have a whole bunch of additional features. So if you've used iMovie, we'll come in here, we'll create a new project. It's pretty easy. It's pretty intuitive to get stuff done. Let's just create a video. We'll go to my videos here. We'll go to my recently. We'll just throw whatever this is and whatever this is, and we'll create a movie. Actually, no, we'll can we add two? See, I haven't used it in so long that I've actually forgotten. Yeah, we'll tick that one and we'll tick that one. So we'll create a movie with these two. There we go. Hit the create movie button. And there you go. So we've got our video files in there. We can zoom in and out. We've got our audio underneath. It's all pretty intuitive. And if we wanted to do some basic editing, you can come in here. You can trim the start. You can change your speed and your volume. You can detach the audio to do separate things on that. You can create splits in here. So you can come in here and you can use the actions here to split out and then trim different parts. So it does a lot of things. But as soon, and you've even got transitions here. So do we have a star wipe? I want to see a star wipe. Do you want to see a star wipe? Hey, but that's okay. He can call it. Oh, hang on. I just want to see it. Focusing in on GarageBand Mac. And the reason I bring you this is that I don't cover Mac as much as I do iOS. And I want to make sure that our Mac Garage... It even had an effect. So it's cool, but it does lack some of the features that we have. If we come over to Lumafusion that we were looking at before, and keep in mind Lumafusion is a paid app. I think it's, can someone help me out here? Is it like $30 in the App Store? But the reason that I love Lumafusion is that you've actually got multiple things here going on. So you've got multiple layers of video. So we've got up to 6 layers of video. If we wanted to do this and we wanted to chop between different video, you can actually set up multiple layers of video. You've also got multiple layers of audio down the bottom here. So if you want to bring things in as just audio, you can do that. And doing multiple channel audio in iMovie is actually really difficult. So if you want to bring in different sets of audio and have them at different parts of a track, it can be really difficult. Whereas you can see there that here in Lumafusion, we can just move things around and we have complete control over that. So the multi-channel stuff is really good. The ability to do all your edits and have your audio waveforms, you can go straight in there. It makes it easy. So when you're doing your cutting, you can come here and you can hit the cut tool there, and you've got your 2 separate bits there. Boom. It just makes it really easy. You've got easy sort of copying and pasting that you can do around there. And then once you get into the next level stuff, if we double tap on here, look at all this. Yeah, you've got all sorts of things. You've got all sorts of audio configurations there that you've got on your audio files. And you've also got your options for, oh, I went full screen. Didn't mean to do that. You've also got options here for your presets, and why am I down the bottom? I use it on my iPhone most of the time, and then you've got all of this. So you've got complete control over the position of your video files, your X and your Y. You can change the size of things. You can rotate. You've just got absolute control, and it does take a little bit of learning, but once you get there, it's really cool. It's really easy to do. You can crop your images so that you can get it to exactly the right thing at the right spot. I'm not doing anything that would make any sense here. And then, yeah, you've got complete touch control as well. So you can just touch on there on the actual image and it's going to move it around. It just gives you that complete freedom to create there, and you can adjust speed, you can adjust all sorts of things, and you can even do things like green screening, you can do chroma key, you can do like motion graphics and things that come in here. So yeah, iMovie, start with iMovie, and once you're like, I like iMovie, but it's a little bit limited, jump over to Lumafusion, because you too can create weird sideways peats on top of your face for some reason. But yeah, definitely, I would highly recommend checking out Lumafusion. To me, it's like up there with my essential apps. If I was on a desert island and I needed 3 apps, I could only take 3 apps with me, it would be GarageBand, Audio Share, and Lumafusion. Because as a video and audio creator, that's exactly what I need. So hopefully that helped you out. Friggsy says, I've released 3 singles and still haven't made $69. Yeah. No, don't worry. Here's a dirty, I don't know if it's a dirty little secret, but I'll have a drink. But yeah, I don't make a lot of music, a lot of money from my music. So I've never been focused on the promotion of music. So when people start asking me, how do I get on Spotify playlists? How do I promote my music? How do I get it out there? I know what's worked for me, which is documenting my process and creating a channel around the education side of creating music. But for someone that is just releasing music, and that's why I think, I know I gave Gary Vaynerchuk some grief before around the NFT stuff, but what I do believe from him is to document instead of create. So, and that doesn't mean you can't create things, but when you document your process, instead of worrying about what am I going to create, if you worry more about what you're going to document over what you're actually going to create, I think that is a better idea. Because yeah, someone like Friggsy, you do music, you do live shows, you create music. I would love to know your process. I would watch an hour of you showing a behind the scenes process of what you did. Night Train 1988, our friend Al, he did a video this week and I still haven't watched it in its entirety, Al. I'm getting to it. But he did a video where he just said, hey, this is me. This is what I create. This is how I do. I would watch that. I would watch a Joe and Barry Glenn video where it's just 10 minutes of them talking about their process or even talking about their history and what they did in the past. I think musicians and creators underestimate how interested people, how nosy, how much of a sticky beak people are, and they want to see the behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, I say all that to say, yeah, just create things and create. I know people that have got YouTube channels that, people like me, that the actual YouTube channel, the actual behind the scenes creativity stuff that they're sharing is more popular than the actual music. And I think that's okay because you're obviously interesting folks that people want to get to know. Thomas says, I like documents for basic file management. It's a little nicer than the basic files app. Siri, could you please stop thinking I'm talking to you? In fact, I'm turning this phone off. If you've had your chance. All right, goodbye. So long, Siri. And in fact, I talked about that, and I actually had this as my motivation. So we'll do 2 birds with 1 stone thing here. We normally do it in the middle of the show, and we're 15 minutes past the middle of the show, but we normally do a midpoint motivation, and I just want to make it that. I want to ask everyone to please document things, to create things, but also to document things and to get them out there. I think a lot of the time when I talk to creators, they are not scared, it's the wrong word, but they are concerned that they are going to saturate their audience, that they're going to release too much stuff, that they've heard these things about the fact that, if you share too much on social media, then people will stop following you because they get so annoyed by it. The algorithms are there to protect people from you. So it's really, really difficult to release too much. I release a video a day, sometimes 2 videos a day. That hasn't damaged me in terms of people get sick of me and then they leave. It may have damaged me in that if you subscribe to me, you don't see every notification. If I release 1 video a week, basically every subscriber will probably get notified of that. The way the algorithm works in every social media platform is that if you release multiple times or if you release more frequently, it often won't actually give a notification out to people. So if you are on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or wherever and you're posting constantly, it's not that people are going to get overloaded. Their feed's not just going to be one after another of your posts. It's just going to pick one and put it there. But if you post once, it might pick none and put it there. See where I'm going with this? And no, it's not a quantity over quality thing per se, but I think a lot of folks are really just not sharing enough of anything because they're so worried that they're going to overdo it. It's really hard to actually overdo it. And if you're again, sharing interesting content and engaging with people in a way that they want, listen to your audience. Let them dictate and decide what you do. The reason we did this Creator Town Hall show, I know this is not for everyone. This is not for all 89,000 people that are subscribed to this channel, but there are about 50 of you that drop in live each week. There's a few hundred of you that watch on the replay because you might pick up a tip, you might get some motivation. It's fun to have a bit of a chat and a bit of a rant, and that's cool. There's other people that will only ever watch a 2-minute video. So if I'm only doing these live streams and I'm never making 2-minute tutorials, guess what? I'm missing the boat there. It doesn't mean that either one is right or wrong, but if you make a vast array of content across a number of platforms and you just are not hesitant about sharing things out there, I think you're going to find that success will be a lot more prevalent for you. My view anyway. All of this stuff is my opinion and my view. Alrighty, we're going to get into our where are we? Nearly found it. We're going to get into our hidden gems. And our hidden gems this week are going to be based on my Patreon. So not the people that support me on Patreon, because you people are all awesome. And if you're not already supporting me on Patreon, guess what? You can do so by going there, studiolivetoday.com/Patreon, and you'll be able to get in there. I share extra videos. We have a chat about things. You get a lot more direct access. So if anyone, and the reason that a lot of folks will email me or Instagram message me or Twitter message me, like I get at least in the vicinity of 50 a week. I can't respond in detail to everyone all the time. So I'll either try to answer questions on a show like this, or if you are a member of the Patreon family, then you can message me. And as I say to my patrons, when I get up in the morning, I check the Patreon inbox and then I do everything else. So if you want to make sure that you get a response and then I can actually tap into that, then do that. All right, let's come over here and find. Now, the weirdest thing is it's really hard because I've got a creator account. It's really hard for me to actually find the people that I support. And I had this problem the other day where I couldn't actually find my creator manage memberships. Oh, is this mine? Is this my membership? Active memberships. Here we go. So these are the things that I'm actually members of on Patreon, and I thought we would run through these now. And once again, if you have your own hidden gems, feel free to share them. Share them with us here on the chat, or send me a Patreon message, or email me through the week, and we can share those as well. But let's jump over for this one, an interesting, slightly different version of our hidden gems here. All right. Can we zoom in on this? Zoom in, enhance, zoom in, enhance, zoom in, enhance. There we go. There, that's going to be better. So, who am I supporting here on Patreon? Number one, and this is actually, I think this was the first person I supported, was the Talking Simpsons podcast. I'm a huge Simpsons fan. Hands up, anyone in the crowd, anyone in the audience that loves The Simpsons? I've loved The Simpsons for a long time. And I also love podcasts. And I also love the creators of the Talking Simpsons podcast. So I started listening to it for probably 6 months before I went, I want the podcaster. And here's the thing. When you support creators on Patreon, it's actually doing more for you. Because you might be thinking, Pete, what's a Simpsons podcast have to do with anything? Learning the techniques they use for promoting through Patreon, learning how they put together a podcast, the format that they use, the familiarity of the different segments that they have, all of that stuff actually really helps out. And last week when I had Jade on the show, she talked about the same sort of thing. She talked about different creators that were not music or not video or not creator related, but were helping her with her creativity, either just to give her a zone out of something interesting to do, or that she can actually learn from them about how they create, and that can influence how you create. So there you go. That is number one, the Talking Simpsons podcast. Number two, Yes, Doug at the Sound Test Room. You'll get full access to all Patreon exclusive videos, which many will be added, and many are. So many of you already know the Sound Test Room and know Doug and Joe over at the Sound Test Room. They are wonderful people, they are wonderful creators, and they are people that I want to support. So if you too want to support the Sound Test Room, you can do so on Patreon, or at least go over and subscribe. I know many of you are already subscribed, but yeah, there is an option to do that. Next up, for all you nerds out there, is LGR. Can we zoom in a little bit more? Let's just, there we go. That's going to be 175%. So LGR stands for Lazy Game Reviews. So Clint Basinger is Lazy Game Reviews, LGR. I've been watching him for probably 5 years. He's been doing YouTube stuff for like probably close to 15 years. Over 1 million subscribers. Why does he need my $1 a month? Because he's awesome. That's why. And yeah, the reason I support people at like the lower tiers is so I can support more. I want to support more. The Simpsons guys I support at $5 because they do extra series for $5, and I really want them. They do a Futurama series and a bunch of other things. For LGR, I like this. You get to see the videos early, and I learned a lot from watching Clint and how he engages with his Patreon community, because he has a large number of patrons. Let's see, can we open this up in a new tab to have a look at some of these in more detail? Let's see. We'll just see if this is going to work. There you go. So, yeah, so he has 3,076 patrons. And it's a great thing. And he's making like $8,000 a month. More power to him. Doing really well. But he does have 3,000 patrons. And I have never seen him not respond to a comment on one of his Patreon videos. Ever. And that is a phenomenal effort. So he's put... And it's, I mean, he may be having some assistance and he may be getting people to help him out, but a lot of them you can just tell that it's actually him doing it. So he definitely prioritizes his Patreons well. Now, is it Patreons or patrons? What do you reckon? Patrons? Patreons? I think patrons is the English word, but Patreon has kind of made us all say Patreon. Tech Mode is a very similar thing. I love my tech, and I love Tech Mode. He looks at old tech. He looks at old formats of audio and video. Just ridiculous thing. If you've never watched a Tech Mode video, you've got to do. He's a very cool dude. His name Matt with one T. Don't put a second T on him. Let's go to the new tab for Tech Mode as well. And yeah, just looks at really cool stuff. Loves vinyl. Loves old technology. Does puppet stuff, which is just weird but super cool. And yeah, again, has 3,700 patrons. And again, he does an audio only version just for patrons, which I think is cool and something that I'm actually considering stealing, doing a separate audio only patron podcast like once a month where we just do this sort of thing but shoot the breeze. That sort of thing is pretty cool. Yep, Tech Moan. Tech Moan for the absolute win. Absolutely. Yeah, no, 3,000 patrons. These guys are killing it. They're crushing it. But again, it's the way they treat their community. You can learn a lot from these creators by how they actually not only create, but how they actually engage with their communities as well. Which is also the case for our man, Jakob Hack. Now, many of you know Jakob Hack from Hack Attack. He is a mobile creator, just like myself and Doug and Jade. He's part of the wonderful community of folks that we have, and is well worth checking out or supporting. There he is. He does a lot more fancy stuff. He's into more the synth side of things, designed his own app and everything. He's been here on the channel as well, and over on Jade's channel as well. So I had a chat to him, Jade's had a chat to him. All round just decent dude, and definitely someone that I'm happy to support here on Patreon. By the way, they do come and go. I don't want anyone to ever feel bad about becoming a patron of mine or deciding to leave Patreon, because it's not for everyone, and it's not also something that everyone can do consistently. So there have been creators that I've supported for a while, and then I haven't. So I'm on the ball and then I'm off the ball. I don't take any offense to anyone, and hopefully no one that I've supported and then had to choose to not support, because you know what? Things are finite. There's only a certain amount that you can invest every month. All right, Tim. Tim looks a bit mysterious, doesn't he? But Tim is actually the creator of Discord. Not Discord, the video chat gaming chatting forum, but discord.com. Which is a very, very cool website that promotes a lot of folks. There you go. You can see that there he is, Tim Webb. So he promotes a lot of different channels. He's been a big supporter of my channel by sharing stuff on discord.com when I've created new videos. And a lot of folks have actually found this channel, my channel, via Tim and via discord.com. So giving it back to Tim. I'm a patron of his channel. The 8-Bit Guy. This is David out of Texas. And yeah, you can tell that I'm a giant nerd, right? Based on the people that I support here on Patreon. But the 8-Bit Guy, there he is. There's David. And again, he does some cool things here. You get his rambling, so he gets to talk just casually to his patrons about different things. But David is just phenomenal. He's a computer programmer. He's does all sorts of really cool tech and hardware stuff. He restores old hardware. So he originally was called the iBook Guy because he was heavily into Mac iBooks. And now he's the 8-Bit Guy because he's into Commodore 64s and all sorts of other interesting stuff. So definitely check out his YouTube channel. Again, 2,300 patrons. I think he's got, how many does he have YouTube subscribers? Many. I don't think he's at 1 million, but he's right up there. And again, subscribers are not everything, by the way, as we've always talked about. What are we going? 8-Bit Guy. But it's a good indication of that. Oh, he has. There you go. Sorry, David. I sold you short 1.28 million. And you can see there's some interesting stuff like him restoring a monitor that he found in landfill and trying to de-yellow it and bring it back to life. So some very cool upcycling kind of stuff over there on the 8-Bit Guys. Yes. Good point. The 8-Bit Guy also does 8-bit keys about old, cheap keyboards. I haven't seen an 8-bit keys video for a while, though. Has he done one in a while? Because I used to love it. There you go, 8-bit keys. Maybe I'm just not getting the notifications. Has he got a new video out lately? Yeah, no, nothing in the last year. So I think because he's focused more on that. But yeah, old keyboard stuff for the win. He's, I think, did he do one of the Commodore 64 keyboard? I'm sure he did. Down here somewhere. But yeah, very, very cool and interesting. Oh, this one was cool. The zip disk music recorder. Watch that one. I'll link this one because if you want to get a taste of what this is, there you go. The zip disk. There you go. The zip disk video, zip disk music recorder. It's like a hard drive recorder that recorded not to tape, not to hard drive, but to zip disks. The Boss BR8. Anyone own a Boss BR8 or any sort of Boss recorder? Maybe. And what have we got? Yeah, okay, we can go through the rest of these. So I'm going to bundle these together because they're the same dude. So I forgot that I was actually still a patron of Dankmas, but Dankmas is our man Wade from right here in Adelaide, and he used to create very cool Simpsons mashup remix audio and video files, and they were super cool and I loved them and I subscribed to him. More recently though, down here, Dank Pods is his latest venture, and Dank Pods has, it's fair to say, exploded in recent times. So here it is. He looks at iPhones, iPods, primarily iPods and old iPods and restoring iPods, but also because he's an audiophile, he also looks at a bunch of cool things like other types of MP3 players, looks at speakers, headphones. He's my go-to source for headphone stuff. I don't even know I didn't catch that one. That looks cool. Oh, that's the after show there. My 1980s gaming rig. Cool. See, I've not seen this video. This is why you got to come here into Patreon and see what people are up to. But yeah, like old parts and old bits and pieces, like really, really cool and really, really worth it. And once again, over here on the YouTubes, this is the first thing you should do is just subscribe to Dank Pods. Yeah, 788 subscribers. So I've seen him grow from, I think, 40 or 50,000 like a year ago up to there. In fact, we can see that. We can use TubeBuddy here to see his subscribers in the last. Well, that's only the last 30 days. But yeah, you can see there that he's crushing. He's gaining 2,000, 3,000 subscribers a day and growing every day. And there you go, 90, just ridiculousness, like great stuff. And the reason is that he's a very engaging creator. He knows his stuff, but he presents it in a very funny and very logical format. So it's well worth checking out Dank Pods. Two here to go here. Fran Blanche. It's a bit of a different one for the sort of stuff that I do, but I actually started becoming a patron of hers on the back of Dave Jones. Oh, there we go. We jumped into it. So Dave Jones, if you don't know, is a dude here in Australia who, I've forgotten the name of his channel. I've remembered his name, but I've forgotten his channel. EV Blog. Thank you. It just came to my head. So I found Fran through Dave. So EEV Blog. is this one here. So again, 800,000 subscribers. Dave Jones is a very, very cool guy. He talks about electrical engineering, but a whole bunch of other stuff. So here you go, Black Magic Teardown. Like he breaks apart things and he shows you how things work and what goes on again. Really interesting stuff. And Fran Blanche does similar stuff. There we go. Fran Blanche, here you go. So she does similar sorts of stuff. Again, very sort of techie, very nerdy, very geeky stuff. But yeah, she just, again, has a really engaging and interesting style. Well, there you go. And what was that? Showing it looks like a guitar pedal there. That's cool. So yeah, a lot of these people have, there you go, musical. A lot of these people have crossover into the music world. So a lot of creators are creating about like technology or nerdiness, but they have a crossover into music. So for instance, LGR has his own synth rig and setup, and he created something called the MIDI Mountain for one of his old PCs. David, 8-bit guy, has 8-bit keys. He loves keyboards. Fran, a musician, but also a creator. Seems that music and tech and nerdiness kind of go hand in hand. There aren't too many that only do one or the other. And last but not least, like there's this creator here. Who's this again? Oh yeah, that's right. It's Jade Starr. And many of you already know Jade Starr. She was on this very show last week. She does the How To app on iOS. She has currently got 34 patrons and growing by the day. So jump on over and check out. Oh, look at that! You can unlock that post by joining the higher levels. See, I'm just a mere pleb here on Jade's channel, so I don't have unlocked everything, but very much obviously worth supporting Jade and the great work that she does over there at the How To app on iOS. So there you go. If you were ever sitting there, I know all of you were sitting there today going, I wonder who Pete supports on Patreon. There you go. Now you know. Some very, very cool creators and people that I look up to and that I consider my peers and my mentors when it comes to creativity. Yes, he does indeed. Yes, Audible Video says Discord has been around since the beginning of iOS. Absolutely. Thomas Christ loves some tech mode as well. Yeah, always fun to watch. Oh, Mark with the hockey update. Man, the Canadians are just finding ways to win. They shouldn't have beaten Toronto in the last series, and they've got no business beating Winnipeg. But if they're not in the Stanley Cup Finals, I'm going to be very surprised. They may find a way to give the Tampa Bay Lightning a run for their money, just quietly. Thomas Crows used to have that BR8, really? So the one that records to zip disks. Can you buy a zip disk? Is there any like new old stock of zip disks around? I'd imagine that would be difficult. 8-bit guy is awesome. Yeah, there you go. Oh, Gino had the BR8 and the BR1180. Look who's walked in here. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't do it. I was going to do check out the Metalhead Hippie, go over and sub him up. Boom. No, sorry, I can't do it. Bad with that. But hello, Hippie. I hope you are doing well. And there you go. There's another creator that you should support if you are not already. And I don't think we've had him on a Hidden Gems before. So there you go. Here's a bonus hidden gem for you. Get on over to the Metalhead Hippie, and there you go. Bump. Boom. There you go. So Metalhead Hippie does 3 shows a week. They go for about 14 hours each. Not quite. Usually a good 4 or 5 hours, sometimes 7, right? And yeah, really cool, engaging. You can share your music, you can listen to other people's music, and good things happen over at the Metalhead Hippie Show. So go check it out, because why not? You might love it, and you might stay forever. Forever! How do I share a track with you? To you? Good question. So if you want to share a track for our weekly Your Music Live show, you can do so by doing the following. And I'm stalling so I can get over to the bit where I have it. Oh, I don't have it. It's studiolivetoday.com/YML. So it's easy enough to get to. Sorry, I thought I had the link there, but yes, studiolivetoday.com/YML. That'll have all the instructions. All you need to do is click or tap on the link there, and it will take you in. You give me your name and email address, the link to the song. It's got to be on SoundCloud or Slaps or YouTube, somewhere where I can play it from, and then we will go ahead and play your tune. All very cool. And by the way, there's about a 4-week delay at the moment because we have so many tunes in the backlog. If you wanted to just get some help or some support, my recommendation there is to actually either join the Patreon, because there's some great people over on my Patreon channel that can help out if you do need help, or if you're a Facebook user, I highly recommend this place here, the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. This is the official group, the partner channel of the Studio Live Today channel here. So we've got nearly 880 members there, some really good people, some folks that will help you out. And yeah, you can share your song there and get a bunch of feedback about it. In fact, I'm going to show you how to do exactly that in just a moment, because that was the other thing that I had planned for the end of this show, was to actually show you how we can upload a song to SoundCloud or Slaps, which is what I recommend, and then we can actually shimmy it on over and share it on a platform like that. So maybe if we have time, maybe we'll actually show that here. What have I missed here? Yeah, Fran's channel is awesome. Like, she's just so, I don't know, she's quirky, but in like a really cool way. Like, just the way she shares stuff is awesome. Thomas really wants a cassette 4-track, but they're so expensive. I know. I've got a 4-track that I want to check out. I think it just needs new belts, but I know so little about stuff that I don't know how to fix that. Yeah. And yeah, that's the problem. And actually, the 8-bit guy mentioned this in a recent show, that technology, it kind of does this. Like, it's new and it's up here, and then it plummets till it's worth so little that places won't even take it off your hands for free. Like, it's impossible to dump some stuff at the moment. Like, CDs and DVDs are at that. They've leveled down here. Nobody wants CDs and DVDs. Whereas vinyl and cassettes, they were down here, and now they're starting to come back up. So if you're smart, you'll go out there and buy yourself a bunch of old vinyl and cassettes while they're still 50 cents each. And then, you know, when they're worth $20 each in 30 years' time, because they're so old, then yeah, you'd be cool. So I've actually got some vintage computer tech upstairs that I was going to throw away a long time ago, and now I'm like, oh, I better go through that before I chuck it. I better actually go through it. Friggsy says, I did electronics in college back in the old days. Built an amp for my project. It was rubbish, but it worked. It never actually worked as a tech, though, for a good reason. Yeah. I'm bad at that sort of thing. I'm bad at that. Oh, yeah, I bought a box of zip disks not long ago. Very cool. Nice one. Oh, go the Avalanche. They're looking pretty good too, I must say. The Avalanche are an outside chance as well. There you go, studiolivetoday.com/YML. Thank you, Jade. Appreciate you. But I'll just make sure I've caught up on all the chat. There you go. Right now, you buy 50 cents for 50 cents. Yeah, right. 50 cents for 50 cents. Yeah, I don't subscribe or support any crypto channels either. I'm a bit worried about some of the crypto guys and gals, but mostly guys, because let's be honest, because a lot of people have been sold on the benefits of crypto as like this investment strategy, like it's a real thing, and it's I mean, it is sort of, but it's kind of like the stock market. Not for the stock market to exist, there have to be losers, right? And for cryptocurrency to be a good investment, people have to be losing money. And that's the bit I don't like about it. I like the whole, high tide rises all ships and we all rise together, that sort of thing. I don't love the idea of doing, especially the whole shorting of things, and Elon Musk coming out and putting a tweet, and then the price of stuff goes up and everyone buys it, and then a bunch of people do the dodgy, what do they call it? Not shorting, whatever it's called, the weird shilling thing where a bunch of people are in the know, so they all sell at the right time, the stock plummets, and then a bunch of people are left as the patsies at the end. It all just feels too much like network marketing and pyramid schemes and just dodginess to me. Like, I don't know, I can't get behind it, because I just want people to be creating real things, and yeah, content is a real thing, and then other people to be supporting them by helping support their real things. And that's why I like Patreon. That's why I like YouTube. That's why I encourage people to create and to document content, because to me, that's the best way to go, rather than these false economies and false scales that don't actually add anything. Like, what, are we going to get to the point where everyone is just shoveling around digital things and no one's actually adding any value? Like, if everyone was a day trader of cryptocurrency, who's actually out doing the things? Who's farming? Who's creating? Who's manufacturing? Who's inventing? Who's making music? I don't know. It worries me at times. I don't know. Yeah, it's a no-no for me too. I don't know. But yeah, maybe it's just old. I said that to my wife this morning. I was ranting about this stuff. So I've been researching this, and did you know how much energy is used? And did you know blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, yeah, okay, old man. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm going to go and have a whinge and a rant, and then I'm going to walk outside and yell at a cloud and tell some kids to get off my lawn. Not that I have lawn. And the kids should be at school. If they're not at school, they probably should get off my lawn. All right. Where's my topic list? I get a little bit off track. Did you notice that sometimes this show goes a little bit off the rails? By the way, we do have 20 minutes left, so any final questions that you have, please do throw them. right there, and we'll cover those. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I said I would do before. We were going to cover screen recording in iOS. I'll do that on a future show. So if you are hanging out for the screen recording, I'm very sorry. But I get asked this a lot, which is how do I get my song file and share it on a Facebook group? So I'm actually going to show you the easiest way to do this, the easiest way to share audio, not necessarily the most engaging way, but the easiest way is to upload it to a service like SoundCloud or what I'm going to recommend, slaps.com, and then share the link on Facebook or YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or wherever you're actually sharing it. So why don't we do this? Why don't I bring up my iPad? We'll share it to my Mac, and then we'll show you. I'll show you how we can get this done pretty darn easily. So we are here. I've got to make sure I actually have a song file to share. Surely I can share my my latest song. So I'll just remove that from there. So we're sharing to a Facebook group. So if you want to share an audio file to Facebook groups or any other place online, one of the easiest ways is to share it to a platform like SoundCloud or slaps.com, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. So we've got, we need to find an audio file first. So I've created a song in Cubasis here, and if I'm not mistaken, I should actually have it over here, shared here. In fact, I don't. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat and find a different file. Where are all my masters? Selfish aware masters. Here we go. You know what? We're going to scrap all that. I'm going to share an old song. So something that's from the archives that I haven't shared before. Let's do Anxiety, because I'm pretty sure I haven't put this on slaps.com before. So here is my audio file that I want to use. It's here in Audio Share. Audio Share is a great platform. We showed it earlier in this live show, but if you're not familiar with it, you can check out the other videos that I have here on the channel about Audio Share. So let's say that I have this audio file. It's a master of my song Anxiety, and it goes like this. And I actually want to share this with a Facebook group. Well, the first thing I need to do is get it somewhere, because you can't share audio directly to Facebook. So we need to upload it, and I recommend using a place called slaps.com. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to Safari here on my iPad. We'll just come over here to make sure I'm not in any embarrassing sites. That's always fun, isn't it? Oh, I kind of was. Not really, but you'll never know. You'll just never know. No, I was watching the hockey. Not particularly bad. Where do we need to go? So I need to come here, not in private mode, and we're going to go to slaps.com. Not Scaps, that's a different place. Slaps.com. And wait for that to load up, make sure it's going to work. Oh no, I've got to log in with my my DistroKid email and password. Now I've got to remember what that is. This could be an epic fail here, folks. Never know. We'll find out. Did I get it right? Oh no, I've got to do the mountains or hills check here. Oh, don't you hate it? I really don't like these sort of I always get them wrong. I don't really know why. Oh, it's gonna be a fail. I should have planned this a bit better and actually logged in. So you know what I'm gonna do? We're just gonna use desktop. Oh, this is going to be really bad. Do you know when you get halfway through something and you just go, that's not going to work that way. So we'll just come here and we'll try a different way. There must be another way. So slaps.com, we're going to come here. Actually, this could be cool because we'll show you how to transfer the files like we did in the last one. All right. Like I was saying, here we are back at slaps.com. If you don't know about Slaps, this is DistroKid's music sharing platform. Works really well because, as you can see here, you have to have a comment to track ratio above 5 to actually release a song and to post a song. So before you post, you've got to come in here, listen to some cool tracks by some other people. So here are some of the people that I follow and that create cool music. You can come in here and listen to a bunch of stuff. But if I want to share my song, what do I need to do? I need to hit the post button. And I can post it to various groups. For this one, I'm going to go to the Create, Record, Release group because that's where I'm going to share it over on Facebook. And we're going to come in here. My artist name is Pete Johns. My track title we're going to share here is Anxiety. And I'm going to choose an audio file. Now, here's where I need to come back over to my iPad. which is waiting here, and share this audio file from my iPad because, as you saw, I didn't have the ability to do this because I couldn't log in because I forgot my password. So what we're going to do is share this file from here. We're going to use the Wi-Fi file sharing platform. So we're going to tap on there. There we go. We can now come over to our browser where we were before. We can open up a new tab. We can go to this address and we can download it. So we can go boom and download that one there. So that's a really easy way to do this because now all we need to do is drag this audio file directly onto there. Now I'm uploading a WAV file and I recommend you upload a WAV because it'll be the best quality for you. We now need an image. Now, how do I create images? How do I do album artwork? Well, how do you think? It's canva.com. So I use canva.com for everything that I do. So for all of my design work, for all of my thumbnails, and for all of my album artwork. So hopefully, if I have tagged this correctly, if I search the word anxiety and go to your designs, boom, there it is. So I can't stop saying boom now. There is my anxiety. Oh no, that's wrong. That's the YouTube thumbnail that I made. Uh-oh. Do I actually have the original one? Oh, see, this is bad organization. This has all just gone bad. We're going to have to just borrow this. We're going to have to edit this and just like, oh, there, okay, this will be okay because what we can do, we can just delete out this stuff. Oh, we started the show with a bit of an epic fail and it looks like we're going to finish the show with an epic fail too. So we'll put that there. We'll make sure it's right in the middle, like so. And then we're going to resize it to a square, to 1280 by 1280. Oh, copy and resize it. And this should just in-square in it. Oh, it's made it small. It's like the blind leading the blind. All right, so we're going to download this one as a JPEG so that we can then upload it to our slaps.com. See, this is what I mean. This is why I don't know how the hippie does like 5-hour live streams because, yeah, I get to the end of 2 hours and my brain doesn't function anymore. I end up having these weird brain farts where I just do things wrong. All right, so we're done. There's album artwork. Once again, we can drag it over and it should do this. Are we going to go boom? Boom. And then... I can put here, Anxiety is a song from my 2018 album, Self-ish Aware. And you can put streaming links in here to places like Spotify and other places. I won't put those in because I'm assuming if you're just sharing something to a Facebook group for the first time, then you'll be good. So everything is there. It's ready to go. You can hit the slap button for Does It Slap. It's going to upload everything and hopefully work. It would be fitting if it didn't work, but... hopefully it will. Yeah, Canva is very cool. Canva is a very cool app indeed. Can you put a smile with anxiety? Maybe it will cause curious people. Yeah, anxiety. Smiley? That would be weird. That would be very weird. Yeah, I think the Habs are pretty safe. 5-1 with 3 minutes left. Jeebus. There you go. That's definitely going to happen. Hello, Tom and co. Late as always on a Sunday evening. Monday down under. Howdy all. Hello, Tom. Hope you're doing well. We're still uploading. Yep. 69, 70. Keep doing your thing. Because I'm streaming, the upload speed's a little bit slower. So we'll just let it do its thing. And from here, it's just a simple case of copying this link and then pasting it into the Create, Record, Release group. So I'll have to do a weird post here, and then people are going to be like, wait, what? Why are you doing that? All right, boom, and it's done. Does it slap? Hey, there we go. So now I can copy this link. Boom, go forth and paste. I'll paste it here. So you can, for those that haven't heard the song, I know many of you have, but you can go and check it out on Slaps yourself and see what's going on there. But now what I'm going to do is we're going to jump back over to Facebook.com. I'm just going to come over here while my Facebook loads, because you just never know what Facebook is going to put at the front of things. You don't, yeah, you put some weird random post there. But instead, we're here at the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. So what I can do here, what's on your mind, I'm just going to paste in. Oh, look, it's telling me the rules of my own group. I understand. Thank you. So we paste that in there. It'll put that there, and it'll put the link there. Here's a little pro tip. So what I'll say is, hi, creators. I'm demonstrating how to share a song using slaps.com on my Creator Town Hall show. And then I'll leave the link there and it'll be good. Now, here's a pro tip. See how it kind of smooshes down and makes the album artwork look all cruddy? I actually replaced that with an image. So you might have noticed that when I share something on Facebook, it's not just that, it's the actual image. So if instead of that, we hit the photo video button here and we bring in this thumbnail, see how it like crispens that up and just makes it a nice image there? So when someone's scrolling through, they'll see that whole image. It means if they tap on the image, it won't go to the link, but the link's right there, yeah? So to me, that just looks nicer than actually having that cruddy link. So when you're sharing a link, consider trying this one out. We're going to hit the post button and it's going to go to the group. So there you go. It's now posted it. There it is. Got it right there. And I mean, ideally, I probably would have even created a wider one that's not just the middle. So it looks even better because it's sort of given it some wide borders there for some reason. But most of the time, if you're sharing something 16 by 9, so a video thumbnail is really good to share, you can do that. So that's all that's to it. And then anyone that's in the Create, Record, Release Facebook group can simply click or tap on that link and it's going to drop them straight into the song Anxiety, which is here. Well, it's generated the waveform. It's still doing its thing. It wasn't quite ready for me, but now it is. There you go. So, and it's there. It's ready to go. It's ready to play, and we've shared it. So you can, of course, use SoundCloud. The other option you have is to create your own video. So we talked earlier in the show about iMovie and about Lumafusion. So that's another good way to do that, is to create your own video file, because the one thing I will say is that when you're sharing on somewhere like Facebook, that native content matters. So this will actually get put in front of many less people than if I actually embedded a video directly into Facebook. The reason being that Facebook don't want people to go out to slaps.com. They don't want people to go to SoundCloud. They don't want people to go to YouTube. So if you have a video, if you have a song and you want to get the maximum amount of exposure in a Facebook group or your own Facebook page, then using a native video can actually help with that. And I've got videos here on the channel to show you how to do that. And I do plan to update and refresh those in the future. So hopefully that helps you out. There you go. The hockey is over. It is done. Amazing. Who would have thought it? The Canadiens, not brought to you by Molson Canadian, but still good all the same. Very good stuff. We've got 10 minutes left here, so we'll probably grab one more topic. But once again, if you do have any final questions, comments, concerns, statements, hidden gems, anything that you want me to take a look at in the next 10 minutes, this is your time. It is your time to shine. Don't be bashful, be bold, and put it out there. All right, now I'm going to go to my my topics and see what we haven't talked about yet. We've covered everything, have we? Oh, you know what? I'll finish on this one because I found this really fascinating. One of our wonderful contributors and moderators here on the channel, by the name of Amarasaya, often comments on videos. He can't always be here live, but he's always watching the replays and commenting on videos. And he talked about something I'd heard of, but didn't know what it was. And it's called the Pygmalion Effect. Has anyone heard of this before? I just found it fascinating. There is a video that talked about it, and I'll copy this and I'll paste it in the chat here right now. I'll also put it in the show notes so that you can check it out afterwards. Boom. There we go. So what this is it's the phenomenon, the effect of higher expectations leading to higher performance. So he used it in the context of that your music live show seems to keep making people better. It seems that everyone comes together and then they see how other people are doing, and then I provide some encouragement, some motivation, and then it's kind of drawing everyone up. And the concept is something similar to that, in that, again, it's higher expectations lead to high performance. So the example, the video that I showed there, the example they give is like a coach that has one player that they think is really good and one player that they think sucks. They don't put it like that, but same sort of thing. The player that's really good, when they score a basket, they're really encouraging. When they do well, when they have a problem, they're just like, oh, no worries, you'll get back onto it, it'll be fine. The other player who they don't think is any good doesn't get that support when they do well, doesn't get that positive reinforcement, and when they do something wrong, it's like, see, I knew you'd mess up. Anyone relate to this? I think a lot of people, unfortunately, have friends or family that do treat people like this at times. Thankfully, I don't. I've got a very supportive friends and family network, but there have definitely been people, both online and offline, that have been like that, that have basically expected that I'm going to fail and have treated me thusly. And because I'm a stubborn a-hole, I've actually gone the other way, where it's like, yeah, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. It's like the Simpsons song, prove me wrong, kids, prove me wrong. But yeah, I've gone the other way, but it worries me because there are so many people that are in these forums, they're in these communities, they're in these groups where people are, instead of, I've talked about it before, instead of building people up, instead of having high expectations of them to say, that was good, but I know you can smash this. Like, great first try, and I'm looking forward to you coming back and improving on that next time. And when I play songs by like Indigo Sunsets and Gary Hubbs and Glenn Clark and these amazing creators, I've seen their progression. And I know that when they started out, they were looking at other creators like Jade Starr and going, wow, I wish I could make music like Jade. And then they were aspiring to do that. And now guess what? You know what's happened now? There's other creators out there that are saying, hey, I wish I could make music like the Indigo Sunsets and like Gary Hubbs. And you know what's going to happen next? Those creators are going to start creating good stuff and a whole new wave of people are going to come in. So I think it was really interesting, and I want to say thanks to Amarasea for pointing it out, that, yeah, looking at the effect of how things go, as opposed to a fire or not fire kind of thing, or an American Idol kind of style competition thing where you just either say people are good and then they continue being good, or people are bad and then they give up and stop trying. I think what I want to do and what I enjoy and what I'm trying to harness here is a community environment where we know we're all at different levels. We know that not everyone is creating the music that they want to create right now. We know that some people probably think that their music sucks and they wish it was better. But by being around a supportive community of creators and by them seeing what is possible, not just with natural raw talent, sure, that's one thing, but with bloody hard work, with working on it, with trial and error, with failing a bunch of times and then getting up and going, I think that's very cool. And so I wanted to thank Amarasea for that, for telling us about that. There you go. Gary is back in again, just in time for me to pump his tires. So there you go. Very cool. All right, couple of other things that that I'm going to cover here before we go, because I wanted to once again say thank you, because I'm not sponsored in this show at the moment, not yet. But if you do want to support me and the work I do, head over there to studiolivetoday.com/Patreon and you can support me. And what I'm going to do here at the end of every show is I'm going to do a Patreon spotlight. So one of my wonderful patrons, I am going to spotlight here and talk about them for just a couple of minutes, let you all know who they are and what they do, and encourage you to go over and check them out and their channel. And not surprisingly, the very first one I'm going to throw here is someone who has been on the show. They're on the show very early on, and that is our friend Thomas Christ. Now, you would know here that Thomas Christ is here in the chat. He's here every show. He's working his butt off. Look at him there. He's helping promote my Patreon right now as we speak, but he also creates a bunch of really cool music. And we've finally encouraged him and made him come in here as Thomas Christ. He was Tom Rochelle. You may know him as the moderator Tom Rochelle for a very long time. Why do you need to check out Thomas Christ? Well, Thomas has been crushing it for a very long time, and he's the absolute epitome of just keep trying. In fact, he has a song legitimately called Fail Harder. Where is it, Tom? It's around here somewhere, isn't it? Just have a drink. I can't find it. But yeah, one of his songs called Fail Harder talks about this exact point, that you've just got to keep trying. You just got to keep going. And when you fail, learn from that and then do something different. Because really, there's no such thing as failure. There is just different levels of success. And some levels of success are 0 and some are 100. And then you just got to keep trying until you find your niche. So what does Tom do? He does weekly live streams of his performances. He releases his own songs. He's just joined up to DistroKid, so he's now releasing music online as well. And he's recorded, correct me, Tom, something ridiculous like 16 albums. Yeah, it's nuts. And he does. He spits fire live on Fridays. And the one thing I'll say to Tom is that I think he needs to do more of the documenting process. I want to see more of Tom, not less. I want to see him do more of the behind the scenes. He's an amazing industrial music creator, and I want to see more of how he actually creates the really unique sounds that he does. And I think once you see what he does, people will be clambering to collaborate with Tom and to find out how he does what he does. And there you go. He's on Bandcamp as well, SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter, all the places. But yeah, do head over. Just search Thomas Christ. There you go. 16 albums, 17 is coming. There you go. Very good. Thank you. And we will do that again. Every week I'm going to highlight a patron until we run out of creators who are patrons who want to actually be promoted. Because some people are patrons and they're not actually creators. They just dig what we do around here, and that's totally cool too. Exactly. As Friggsy says, go Tom, amazing musician, live streamer, and producer. And exactly, amazing output and very inspiring. So I know many of you watching this now are already subscribed to Tom and do check him out. But if you're not and you're interested, go ahead and do that. Alrighty, Yakoba, thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate it. It's folks like you that help keep the lights on around here at Studio Live today. Without you, we'd look like this, and we want to look instead like this. So I do thank you for your support as well. I did see one final question, which hopefully we can answer in 2 minutes. From Sion, a question. Do you shoot your mobile videos and edit them on your phone? Short answer to that is sometimes and maybe. So do I shoot your mobile videos and edit them on your phone? I definitely edit everything on my phone. So using the process I showed earlier in the video, if I do something, so say I wanted to clip something from this live stream, which I will, I'll clip that audio share bit that I did on this show. So after this show, what I'll do is I'll download that right here on my Mac. As soon as the show is finished, I'll download it using StreamYard. I'll shimmy that over to that audio share video import folder. I'll throw that into Lumafusion and I'll clip out that clip. That's the way I do a lot of my shorter videos. If I am doing a short or if I'm doing a tutorial where I need to show something. So for instance, this week, I've got to do a video review of, you can't quite see it, but just there is the brand new Atola 8-port USB 3 hub, which is very cool. Powered hub, 8 ports. So I have to do a review of that. And guess what? That has to be on my desktop here. So that will be the iPhone 12. And that will be pointing down at my desktop. So I'll be capturing it on here. And that way it makes it even easier for me because I shoot and then edit and release all using just my iPhone. So that is the short answer to all of that. But it's all very cool. Final one, would you consider doing a video on how to set up a Patreon? That's a good question. Yeah, I would consider it. I probably should have taken my own advice and documented it at the time when I did it because it's a little bit of a slippery slope. The one thing I'll say, like, it's actually pretty easy to do. So to set up your own Patreon patron account, channel, it's pretty easy. Like if you've set up a YouTube channel, you can set up a Patreon channel. The hardest thing is determining what levels to put. And the one thing I'll say there is don't have too many levels. I've got 4. I probably should have gone 3. So I've got 4 levels, which is $1, $5, $10, and $50. Always have a low entry point so that many people can support you that may not be able to afford to support you for a lot of money. And always have a high level because there are some people that just love what you do and will want to support you at a high level to get potentially some higher levels of access. So do that and then be very light on what you provide to start with. So I still don't really provide much for like my patrons don't get a whole lot. They get access, as I said, but I've seen people start Patreons and put their levels where they're like, for $5 you get this, and for $10 you get a half hour with me, and for $20 you get a 1 hour mixing session with me. And they just spend their entire month just fulfilling Patreon requirements as opposed to doing what they're doing. Whereas I've said from the day dot that Patreon is just your way of saying, thumbs up, Pete, good job. I'm going to help you pay some bills because you put out a video every day and I dig what you do. So that is more the way that I'd go, at least to start. You can then add to it over time. So you can then increase and improve it as you go. But I would actually start out with a simple. Keep it simple. Almost use that, and I hate to say it, but the whole minimum viable product thing, because I've been chatting with my wife about that, and the whole agile methodology doesn't work for everything. But for something like this, I think it does. Put out your minimum viable product. Even if you put out Patreon, which is just a $1 and a $10, 2 of them. Just say, hey, support me for $10 if you think I'm awesome. Support me for $1 if you just got some change lying around and you want to support me. And for $10, for $1 you get a warm and fuzzy feeling. For $10 you get a monthly live stream. Do that. Start with that, and then over time, if that doesn't work, you can build it, you can change it. The good thing is you're not stuck. You don't just have to put one thing out and then you're stuck forever. You can just try it out. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Devil's Thumb. Yeah, and I really enjoy this community too. I love doing this show. It is just it's a relaxing couple of hours. It's an opportunity for us all to get together and just share some ideas. Hopefully you got some motivation or some information that can help you here today. Old man ranting about NFTs aside, I hope you found that interesting. And if you had the contrary opinion, if you want to point me towards stuff that tells me why I should be in love with NFTs, I'm all ears. I legitimately want to learn, but at the moment it's teetering with the whole fake scarcity thing and the whole environmental impact of the energy being used for something that doesn't really need to happen. That I just can't push past that. But I'm happy to be educated because I'm a sponge. I want to learn things. When I get into stuff, I have to learn it. I have to generally overanalyze it, but then eventually I work out, okay, here's where I sit on things. There you go. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Please, as we say at the end of every show, be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Keep creating and join me tomorrow for Garageband Weekly, 1 p.m. On the West Coast, 4 p.m. on the East Coast, and 10 p.m. Greenwich No, is that right? 2 p.m., 5 p.m., and 10 p.m. Daylight saving, man. Tomorrow afternoon. Join me for GarageBand Weekly because we will be talking about, we will finally know, we will know. I'll be able to wear my t-shirt and say, is GarageBand, here we go. We'll answer this question. Apple may or may not release, oh, I didn't even spell it right. May or may no release it, but we'll know by tomorrow. So we'll know whether Logic Pro or anything else interesting has been announced at WWDC. Thanks for being here, folks, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.